Welcome back to The Wisdom Within. I'm Lara Jaye, and today we're diving into something that touches every corner of your life, your nervous system. So whether you realize it or not, your nervous system is actually calling the shots, how you run your business, how you show up in relationships, even who you're attracted to as a partner. The state of your nervous system sets the tone for all of your choices, your opportunities, and even your ability to expand. So today I'm going to share how survival patterns quietly hijack the system, keeping you stuck in these old cycles going round and round. I'm also going to show you a few ways that you can begin to shift it immediately. And as always, we're going to close with a light language clearing to reset and rewire your system. So years ago, I had a business coach say to me, "Your 4-year-old is running your business." At first, I laughed. I thought she meant my child was sneaking into my office and taking over my schedule. But that wasn't what she meant. What she meant was my 4-year-old inner child, the part of me that had been traumatized and never felt fully safe. That was the one calling the shots and running my business. It was actually a really hard truth to face because when we leave those younger, wounded parts of ourselves unhealed, they actually don't disappear. They end up steering our choices down the road and in ways we really don't even realize. So my 4-year-old, still afraid, still wired for survival, was making the decisions of how much I worked, how much rest I allowed, and even how I handled money and clients. She was running the show with all of her fears, defenses, and really, really old survival strategies. So that's what unhealed trauma does. It freezes parts of us literally in time. And the nervous system doesn't recognize that we've actually grown up, that we're adulting. It just keeps running the same old scripts to try to keep us safe. And that's its job, keep you safe. Let's pause here for a moment, wherever you are. Take a breath in and let it out. Just notice your shoulders. Are they tight? Notice your jaw. Is it clenched? Do you feel stressed? This is your nervous system speaking to you. Even now, your body may be showing you where survival is still running the show. We often think we're making logical decisions, but underneath it all, it's our nervous system that dictates whether we take a leap or whether we freeze or sabotage or play small. If your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, you might run your business with urgency and never hustling and never resting. I know that's what I did. Ran myself, my body in the ground, was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night, ended up with a lot of health issues in my early 40s. And if it's stuck in freeze, you procrastinate. You do the opposite. You miss opportunities because growing feels unsafe. And in relationships, if your system equates chaos with love, you may keep choosing partners who trigger those old wounds. And let me walk you through some everyday ways these imprints show up. So when your nervous system is stuck in trauma, it doesn't stay in the past. It quietly runs your present. It shapes how you work, love, rest, even how safe you feel in your own body. So some of the most common ways is you might notice it first in overachieving or burnout. So when your body believes survival depends on constant doing, it locks you. It locks your nervous system into fight mode. Adrenaline and cortisol keep pumping. Rest doesn't feel safe. It's hard to go to sleep. That's why you might find yourself working late into the night, micromanaging every detail, or skipping over even your wins. So deep down, your body is whispering, if I stop, I won't be safe. And then there's the flip side, difficulty receiving love and support. For some, vulnerability itself feels so threatening. So the nervous system wires in hyper independence. I can do it all. You brush off compliments, refuse help, take pride in, I'll do it myself. If you remember that book, even when you're completely drained. So to the body, asking for help equates to danger and honestly, even control. So that same wiring can spill into our relationships. Healthy intimacy might actually feel unsafe. If closeness once meant harm, then love itself can trigger fight, flight, or freeze. Maybe you pick fights just when things are going well. You pull away when it gets serious, or only feel attraction towards people who aren't really safe. It's not that you don't want love. It's that your body has learned to equate closeness with risk. Sometimes the survival pattern takes the form of people pleasing. That was one of my biggies. This is the fawn response, staying small or agreeable to keep yourself safe. It drains your energy, keeps your system on edge all the time. You say yes when you really mean no. You apologize for things that aren't even yours and shrink your own needs. Why? Just to keep peace. And if you're always on edge, you might notice hypervigilance in everyday life. Your body doesn't downshift into rest and digest. It stays primed for danger. That looks like scanning rooms, jumping at small noises, clenching your jaw or shoulders, feeling tense, just driving in traffic and being in crowds. Even money can get tangled up in survival mode. When your nervous system links safety directly to money, stress floods your system every time finances come up. Panic when bills arrive, hoarding or overspending, or constantly chasing the next big thing without ever feeling secure. It's the body's way of saying, my survival depends on this. Over time, all of this takes its toll on the body itself. Unprocessed trauma doesn't just vanish, it gets stored. That frozen energy weakens your immune system. It disrupts your vagus nerve, shows up as autoimmune conditions, gut issues, fatigue, chronic pain, even migraines. The body carries what the mind doesn't process. Let me say that again. The body carries what the mind doesn't process. And when the body is revved up like that, even rest or play can feel dangerous. You might feel guilty when you relax, restless on vacation, or tell yourself you're lazy if you're not productive. Your nervous system simply hasn't learned that being still can be safe. Which leads to one last pattern: constant distraction. If silence threatens to bring old wounds to the surface, the nervous system will fill the space. It'll fill it with noise. Maybe you need the TV on. You have to scroll endlessly or avoid meditation, quiet. The quiet feels unsafe, so you stay busy to keep from feeling what's underneath. These aren't flaws, they're adaptations to your system. God created us this way. They're adaptations to your system created to keep you safe. That's it. And I'll be honest, I still notice these patterns in myself on occasion. And just the other day, my nervous system started, I call it sparking, little jolts of tension, just thinking about there was an upcoming meeting. And as I was slowing down, paying attention, I realized my body was bracing. It was bracing, preparing as if someone was going to yell at me. But this person has never raised their voice to me that I was getting ready to have a meeting with. My reaction wasn't about them. It was about something familiar in the past. That's the tricky thing about trauma and triggers. It is rarely about what's happening right here, right now. The nervous system is scanning all the time for echoes, saying, this reminds me of when I wasn't safe, so I better prepare for danger. And much of that wiring actually begins way before we're adults, before the age of 7. Those first years are when the nervous system and subconscious are writing the manual for how life works. And at that age, we don't analyze. We just absorb. If there's chaos, yelling, neglect, or even emotional unavailability, those experiences get stored in our body as survival rules. Rules such as love isn't safe, speaking up leads to danger. Rest means I'll be punished. I must perform to be accepted. Any of those sound familiar? For me, growing up as a child of 2 alcoholics, I learned very early on that speaking my truth was not safe. I learned to keep peace at all costs, to tiptoe around conflict, and to bury every need that I had. That became my operating manual to survive. And those imprints don't just stay in the mind. They shape the brain wiring, the body chemistry, and every pattern in our adulthood. That's why decades later, you can be in a perfectly normal meeting and your body reacts like a child bracing to be scolded. This is why nervous system healing is so powerful. It's not about fixing who you are. It's about updating the manual that was written before you ever had a choice. So back to the meeting. Once I realized my nervous system was sparking, I had a choice. I could let my survival pattern run the show, or I could pause and bring myself back to safety. So here's what I actually did. While I was driving there, I put on classical music to calm my system. I opened my essential oils that I always keep in my car: peppermint, rosemary, lemongrass, and one called Stress Away. Breathe those in. I don't even put them on my body. I just breathe them. I spoke light language, of course, out loud in the car, letting those frequencies shift my field. And I prayed simply, thy will be done. By the time I had walked into the room, my body had already reset. The meeting turned out amazing. Nobody was yelling. And that's what I want to give you today. Some simple steps you can do when your nervous system is firing. Number 1, awareness and pause. First thing I did, I got quiet. When you feel reactive, snapping, shutting down, or avoiding, stop, pause, take a breath. Ask, is this my choice or my nervous system talking? Write it out, pray, wait. Awareness interrupts autopilot. That's why self-awareness is so important. That's why pausing, taking a beat is so important. Number 2, regulate with breath and grounding. Hand on the heart, hand on the belly. Inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly. Repeat this a couple of times. Inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 2. This tells your body, I am safe. Anchor it with music, oils, movement, prayer, whatever helps your body feel supported. And number 3, redefine what's safe. You get to choose now. You're an adult. If your body thinks stress is normal, you're going to just keep repeating it, bringing more drama, more chaos into your life. Start small. 5 minutes of calm, receiving help without guilt, speaking truth instead of keeping peace. Speak your truth. And also know it's your truth. It doesn't mean it's theirs. It's your truth. Over time, your nervous system learns that peace, prosperity, and partnership, they're safe too. You're going to learn that. With your permission, I'm going to bring through some light language right now to help clear these survival imprints from your nervous system and open space for safety, clarity, and expansion. I invite you to close your eyes with me. Take a deep breath in. Hold. Let go. Feel your body supported beneath you. Remember that you are safe, you are supported, and you are free to choose differently. Kaleto nali otoriendo, jele parandare yateriondo, darateriondo, nane la parandare yelotora malianga. On jelatora meleando, jelatola meto, jelatorele, core meloriane, dio core yeshile plemetele cliamo guam. Yendo jeletolati yotorala calacadiana, yondo jelawandore le cliquam. Yendo leti jeletola barianda, yono, nanianda, yacoria, jele colocoriamo guam. Galiondo jeleble coriama galiondo lo ondo jete coriamo coriende di yetoriete di anda di yocoriete di ando sheklekamwam yendo caranda de shelepuam Galeto de beliondo gelete le baramba le yete di endo di le paramanianda di indo de shelewam endo de le baramanianda di yete di quale poramio shelepuamo cariende di ondo gelete di ama quale coreana mo bade ande shekli coreamo carianda amo de geletora de ondo delle caleco de gelewamo de jekwa Galoto gelatola morianda na Leto gelatole calipore gelewam Leto jele paraparianda di yundo jele paraparianda di yukula per shawam, ki yutu jele wam, arondo jele tua, ke lotu shawa. And when you're ready, come back into your body. Awareness. Take a deep breath in. Open your eyes when you're ready. And remember that you are safe, you are supported, and you are free to choose differently. Have a great week.